Hey guys, Dean here. Today I'll be reviewing a game that's piqued my attention recently, and one that's actually gone under the radar, Dragon and Home. A game that reminds me so much of Hytale, yet it's actually out now and you can play it. So is this game the Hytale Killer? Did they beat Hypixel to it first? Well, let's explore that and see what it's all about and if it's even remotely similar. This game is an interesting concept. It's a sandbox MMORPG which gives you freedom of choice. If you can imagine a wild world of adventure with quests and dragons, then you will probably enjoy this one. And those that somehow don't enjoy exploring might prefer the fact that you can just be a farmer and raise animals and grow crops on your homeland. First of all, I'll mention the game is a blast to play, mainly due in fact to it throwing you into a beautiful world that's filled with dragons and mythical creatures, which is set in a fantasy universe where you play as a dragon rider, with a final challenge being to defeat the Dragon King boss to save the land from his evil tyranny. It's one of those classical fairy tale fantasy style story endings, and of course if you've watched a movie like How to Train Your Dragon, then this will probably appeal to you too. Now to start, the game's graphics are truly stunning, with detailed textures and animations that gives it that livelier feel. The in-game world is also so vast and diverse to trail through, but the character models are also top notch, and it's these specifically that give off that Hytale-esque feeling, as they look just like the characters do in Hytale, and the whole concept of the game is fairly similar to its RPG theme, along with the elements of building of course, which I'm not going to cover too much on. One thing that I think though is quite noteworthy is how the game manages to blend together multiple genres in a seamless way. That's due in fact to it being both RPG and part action adventure, which blends them together really well. One thing that sets this one apart from others though is its combat system, which I do have a few gripes with that I'll touch on after. Another thing that reminded me of Hytale, the unique combat system which it features lets you take control of your dragon and fight enemies with it, allowing you to upgrade and customize its abilities to make the different fights and engagements unique and exciting, especially since the enemies that you go against have different abilities and tactics which will change each fight and the challenges that they provide. It kind of reminds me of when I was playing RL Craft or playing Dragon Mounts, those mods for Minecraft, yet with a few extra things that those mods don't have. The game is not just all about combat however, as it does actually feature a rich and engaging storyline which is quite hooking, with some fairly well written dialogue that has characters that are decently likeable and fairly relatable, if you can of course relate to someone living in a fantasy universe that is. But the story does have its twists and turns and it'll keep you guessing and want to continue the adventure that you're on. However, there's some upsides and downsides to consider when playing this game or considering if it's worth installing. For an example, the mount breeding system which it has in the game is heavily reliant upon the element of RNG. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a random number generator which gives you a random chance of actually receiving what you want, and it does require a significant amount of time to actually level up too. Another pointer which I experienced is there's some various cutscenes in this game that are voiced in Chinese, which can be unexpected and can be a little bit uncomprehendable for some players. Of course I love China, but it's quite hard to understand what they're saying if you don't know the language. The game also has a heavy reliance upon repetitive daily quests, which is a blunder that World of Warcraft was unfortunately infamous for, which I did play a lot when I was a teenager. This is of course in conjunction with a leveling system which can seem very grindy at some points, especially if you don't really have that much time to invest into a game like me, then it can kind of feel a little bit long-winded with these kinds of systems. In the combat system though, the two-handed sword and the weapon skills are not actually available until level 18, which can make the combat system unenjoyable after a while during the first half of the game as you're trying to grind up. The economy in game is also based on the activity of the individual, meaning that crafting items can be an expensive endeavour that's also time consuming. The perishable inventory system requires a fair deal of constant play, or in some cases completely starting over entirely. To conclude, Dragon Home is a game that has a lot of potential. Its friendly community and the various crafting paths and activities that it offers does make it quite inviting. However, it's clear that the game is still a work in progress, and it does suffer from some issues such as bugs, limited crafting paths and slow combat during the beginning, and whether it's in fact the Hytale Killer remains to be seen, as it all does come down to personal preference. Although if you're looking for a game that allows you to build your own house and explore an interesting story, then this game may be worth checking out. This game does have some room for improvement, but it's a good option for a sandbox game with unique features without a price tag. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay now after this review, so you can see the game without any commentary and make up your mind for yourself. myself and see what this game is really about, because it was actually quite fun to play. And I also want to know, what do you actually think of Dragon and Home? Did you play it, and do you think it actually can be better than Hytale? We can only really know when Hytale gets released, so we have a real comparison, because all we have is the trailer for Hytale. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and give the video a like and subscribe for the best videos for Minecraft on YouTube.
You over there. You look like you've seen a ghost. What? Haven't you even seen a dragon before?
You sure are dressed up pretty special. Are you a witch?
Hey! Don't you know how rude it is to speculate about others' identity?
I'm sorry.
Great. You have the capacity to change for the better.
I can't seem to remember anything.
What a pity. A soul. Lost onto this world with memories lost too. Like a blank piece of paper. Tabula rasa. Who doesn't even know who they are?
Who are you? And what is this place?
Huh. Seeing as you ask so nicely, then I shall grant you clemency and explain it. My name is Sakura, and beneath your feet lies the land of Breeze Plain. There are 4 lands throughout this world, which are independent from each other. Traversing between these lands requires special methods. And I, for whatever reason, find myself currently traversing between these lands.
For whatever reason? What's that about?
You ask too many questions. If I didn't see you wearing the mark of the Soulfire, I wouldn't be telling you a thing.
The mark I'm wearing?
It's this here. Put simply, you are the chosen one. Let's put it this way. I'm looking for a helper. Then I will reluctantly take you on as my errand boy. I'm hungry right now. Let's test your mettle to see if you've got the basics.